It didn't fly. It pierced the sky. A white arrow, sculpted by the wind, born from the fire of ambition, a promise whispered in two languages, English and French, united by an impossible goal, to touch the future before anyone else. In a world divided by the Cold War, speed was power, and in the sky there was a new race. Not for the moon, but for the edge of our atmosphere. They called it Concorde, harmony, union. But its story began in conflict and ended in tragedy. This is not the tale of an airplane. It is the biography of a dream, a supersonic dream that became a nightmare. How did the most beautiful machine ever built become a symbol of loss? If this journey has already captured you, subscribe to the channel and booklet, because we are about to break the sound barrier. To build the Concorde, engineering had to be reinvented. The challenge wasn't just to fly. It was to fly faster than the Earth's rotation. At Mach 2, twice the speed of sound. At that speed, the air doesn't flow. It shatters. The fuselage expanded by inches. The heat was so intense, you couldn't touch the windows. They created a special paint, white, reflective, to dissipate the heat that threatened to melt the metal. They created a nose that would droop, a hawk's vision. Down, for the pilot to see the runway. Up, to slice through the sky like a blade. Delta wings, a shape of pure efficiency. Art and science in perfect union. Every bolt, every wire was a miracle of engineering. A bold statement. The world looked up and saw not a plane, but proof that humanity could overcome the impossible. And then it rained. For 27 years, the Concorde was not a mode of transport. It was a destination, an exclusive club at 60,000 feet, where the sky was dark and the curvature of the earth was the view from your window. London to New York. In under 3.5 hours, you arrived before you had departed, a time machine made of titanium. On board, time moved differently. Dom Perignon, champagne caviar. Meals created by star chefs. The Queen of England flew on it. Mick Jagger, Elton John, presidents and spies. It was the ultimate status symbol. The golden ticket of an optimistic era, a world that believed in progress at any cost. But every great ascent hides the beginning of a fall. On the ground, the dream was loud, the sonic boom. A thunder that shattered windows and banned the Concorde from flying over continents. Its routes were few, its seats limited to 100. Every flight, a glorious financial loss. It was too fast, too expensive, too exclusive. For the world that created it, it was a work of art. But the world wanted flying buses. Efficient, cheap, soulless. The Concorde was a thoroughbred in a world of workhorses. Its beauty was its curse. What would you do? Would you keep such a magnificent dream alive, even at a loss? Leave your opinion in the comments. The world was changing. Oil crises, recessions. The era of excess was coming to an end, and the Concorde remained. A ghost of a future that never arrived for everyone, flying almost empty, but always majestic, ignoring the signs. Until the day it no longer could, a single piece of metal, forgotten on a runway, was about to destroy the legend. July 25, 2000. Charles de Gaulle Airport, Paris. A hot summer day. Air France Flight 4590 prepares for departure. Destination, New York. 100 passengers on board, most of them German, heading for the cruise of a lifetime. Everything was routine. Everything was perfect. On their runway, a continental plane had taken off minutes before, and it left something behind, a strip of titanium. Small, insignificant, deadly. The Concorde accelerates. V1. The front left tire runs over the debris. The tire explodes, not with a pop, but with a violent disintegration. A 4-kilo piece of rubber launched against the wing at supersonic speed. The impact doesn't puncture the wing from above, but from below, where the fuel tank is. Filled to the brim, the tank ruptures, and a wave of kerosene spills out, directly over the incandescent engines. The ignition is instantaneous. The dream becomes a torch. Inside the cockpit, the pilots don't know about the fire. They only know they've lost 2 engines, and they cannot stop. The voice from the control tower, calm/terrifying. The white giant drags itself into the air, leaving a trail of fire and smoke, a hellish comet's tail. It doesn't climb. It fights. For 2 minutes. 2 minutes of desperate courage, trying to reach a nearby airport. But the wing is melting. Control is lost. The nose, once proud, now points down. The Concorde falls on a hotel. Ngunis, taking everyone on board, and for people on the ground. The silence that follows is the end of an era. The dream is dead. The investigation was clear. A chain of bad luck. A freak accident that exposed the flaw no one had ever foreseen. The fleet was grounded, modified, reinforced. They tried to bring it back. But public trust was gone. Fear had replaced admiration. And after September 11th, the world of aviation changed forever. There was no more room for luxury. For poetry, in 2003, the final flight. A silent farewell over Bristol, the place where it was born. It landed. Its nose drooped for the last time. The engines were shut down, and the world's fastest plane became a museum piece, a sleeping giant. It was a promise of an elegant future. Fast, optimistic. Perhaps the problem wasn't with the plane, but with us. A world no longer willing to pay the price for such beautiful dreams. The story of the Concorde makes you think. If it moved you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Imagine the other legends of engineering we have yet to explore. It no longer flies, but every time we look at the sky, a part of us still searches for the white arrow tearing through the blue, faster than time itself.